And now let's just listen to this rare sound. Our world. The elegant Arabian leopard, the smallest of this species, has been on the critically endangered list since 1996. There are said to be only about 200 of them left in the wild. And now Saudi Arabia says it's committed to bringing them back. The ancient stone carvings in its Al Ula region show how the Arabian leopards once roamed there. The kingdom has just signed a $20 million contract with Panthera. It's an international wildcat conservation organization. On the line to the Saudi city of Jeddah, I asked its founder and CEO, Tom Kaplan, how this partnership came about.
Panthera was invited by the Royal Commission of Al Ula to advise them on a project to restore the habitat and bring back the population of Arabian leopards to the Al Ula region of Saudi Arabia. That originally took place in the fall of last year, but gathered pace when I went to Riyadh and met with His Royal Highness, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Royal Highness Prince Badr bin Abdullah bin Farhan. And they both asked me whether it was possible to think of not only getting ahead of the curve and saving the Arabian leopard, but also if there were ways that they might be able to help other countries save their leopards before they found themselves in the predicament in which Saudi Arabia finds itself now.
Quite extraordinary that Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, who's effectively the ruler of Saudi Arabia, busy man, under huge pressure, that he would find time to bring the Arabian leopard back. Well, why do you think he's so interested?
Well, I think this stems from the fact that Saudi Arabia has actually an excellent tradition of bringing back endangered species. The Arabian oryx had disappeared in nature in the 1970s, and the UAE's Sheikh Zayed joined with Saudi Arabia, and as part of a captive breeding and reintroduction program similar to what we hope to accomplish with the Arabian leopard, the Arabian oryx went from being critically endangered on the IUCN Red List to the point where it became the world's first animal to go from being extinct in the wild to labeled as vulnerable. We hope to replicate that experience.
So you've signed a deal of $20 million over the next 10 years. What will that be invested in? What do you actually have to do to bring back the Arabian leopard?
So Panthera is going to begin by assessing the Arabian leopard's population and all the threats associated with it, and then determine how the captive population can be used to repopulate the Al-Sharan Nature Reserve so that we know what the capacity is for the leopards. Leopards and all big cats need wide ranges to roam, and they need protein. If you can provide that, then you can create a habitat that's not only good for leopards, but is good for all the other species that are encompassed under its umbrella.
So what would it be if you create a new habitat, and could you, for example, breed the leopards, bring some from neighboring Oman, where we understand there's around 44 to 58 leopards there, and how do you actually get them back into Saudi Arabia?
You have in Sharjah in the UAE the largest captive breeding stock with several dozen breeding leopards, and you have 16 in Saudi Arabia itself, located at the Captive Breeding and Reintroduction Center in Taif. So the leopards that we're looking for are not necessarily to be taken from the wild. We see that between Taif and Sharjah and potentially in Yemen, we have a sufficient breeding stock to be able to engage in the reintroduction without disturbing wild populations in Oman and Yemen.
There were many investors, many outsiders who were like you, very impressed by this new reform program, but many pulled back and started questioning it after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Are you finding now that you have to convince others to say that no, Saudi Arabia is a place that you should go to?
The fact is that politics is cyclical. Extinction is forever. And what the Saudi Arabians are talking about is bringing back species which are on the brink of extinction. And this is something that I find extremely motivating. And the truth is, I've really only found this kind of passion, genuine passion, coming out of the Arabian Peninsula. What's really struck me, though, is the desire by the royal family in Saudi Arabia not just to save their leopards, but seeing the plight of the leopard, arguably the most iconic species in the world, but the most persecuted of the big cats. They want to help other countries not find themselves in the situation in which they're in.
That was Thomas Kaplan. He's the founder and CEO of Panthera, an international wildcat conservation organization. Impassioned, as you heard, of bringing the wild cats, the Arabian leopard, back to the Arabian Peninsula.